Okay? Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. My name is Dan Winters. I head up business development for Amazon Game Services. And yes, that is me at 9 years of age. You can see how excited I am. I loved baseball. And there are only a few things that I love as much as baseball, and one of them happens to be games. I've been in the games business now for 25 years. I was with Disney, Electronic Arts, Activision, Warner Brothers, and now with Amazon. And so I've seen the games business from a lot of different perspectives. I've seen the games business kind of evolve. Going back to old school where we used to go to the arcades. No, that's not me, by the way. Going back to old school where we went to arcades and we pumped quarters into machines and played games like Missile Command and Pac-Man, and I was a big fan of Ms. Pac-Man, actually. And then games came to our homes, and we started playing them in our basements and in our rec rooms, in our living rooms, and we still stayed committed. In fact, one of the things that hasn't changed through the years is that gamers are constantly committed to playing their games, and that hasn't changed through the years. And then with multiplayer, we started playing games with each other and connecting with one another in LAN parties, and we still stayed committed. In fact, this kid is really committed. He taped himself to the ceiling, and let me explain this to you. What he did is he taped himself to the ceiling so the blood flows down to his hands more effectively, and it makes him quicker and better game player. Very committed. And then because we were committed, we started dressing up, and we started playing games as a lifestyle, and we started taking on the personas of the characters we played in our games, and we started exploring more immersive environments in the worlds and the universes that we explored. And then through that, we created these vast communities of gamers who started playing together with not only people in the same room, but with people all over the world. And we connected with and competed against and collaborated with players all over the world, people that normally we would never get a chance to interact with. And those communities grew. And they grew bigger into large communities where esports allowed us the opportunity to be fans, to have heroes, professional gamers that we followed. And, actually I saw some information a little while ago. There were 36 million people that watched the championship for League of Legends last year. That's a lot of folks. And so with these big events, you need a network. And the network to broadcast these events is Twitch. And Twitch not only broadcasts events, but it also gives us the opportunity to hang out in essentially lobbies and to watch people play games, to contribute to people playing games, to interact with folks, and in fact, to interact with the developers who have been our heroes through the years. And so we started doing this. We started hanging out in Twitch lobbies and talking to developers, and we just asked them some very simple questions about what mattered most to developers. And we learned a lot. And in fact, there were three things that kind of rose to the top in our conversations. One was developers want speed. They want to be able to move quickly. They want tools and services to be able to make their games quicker so that they can focus on higher quality experiences, more time to polish, more time to iterate. The second thing that they mentioned was they want reach. Now, there's a whole lot of people. And we make games because we love it. But we also want as many people throughout the world to play them as we can. A long time ago, I was at Disney, and we made a little game called A Bug's Life. And we were pretty proud of it. We put it out in the marketplace. And then a few weeks later, I had a chance to go to Israel. And I went to a software store, and I saw A Bug's Life sitting on the counter in the software store. And I thought, how cool is that? We use the common language of games to interact and to connect with people in places where we never would have had a chance to explore before. And so reach is very important because it allows us to build these vast, vibrant communities. And then the third thing is monetization. Developers want to make money. This is a business, but more than that, we want to make money so that we can reinvest that money back into our games, and we can build more vibrant, richer, deeper experiences for gamers around the world. So we also asked them one additional thing. We said, what do you think the future holds? Where do you think game development and games are going in the future? And they agreed with us. We tended to believe that the cloud is going to be an enabler, an unlocker of creativity. The vast strength and power of both compute and also storage in the cloud will allow us as game developers to do things we never thought possible before, to reach visions and capabilities that we never thought possible in the past. And so we made an engine for the future. Our engine, Lumberyard, is a AAA game engine that's deeply integrated with both Amazon Web Services and Twitch. And it leverages the power of what we call cloud and crowd. Now, Lumberyard is a C++ native engine, so it allows you to create very high fidelity, high performing games, and we're also including source. So what does this mean for a developer? What it means is we're going to give you a running start to making your games, but we don't want to give you the final solution. We want you to be able to have the flexibility to customize and tailor your development environment to the needs of your specific game. Basically, we want to help make Lumberyard yours. We want to empower and inspire you as game makers to unlock your creativity. Historically, we always had great ideas. We as game creators and as creative people had great ideas. Technology was always a limiting factor. Well, with the power of the cloud, that will no longer be the case. And we will provide best-in-class tools and services to help you craft the highest quality games quicker and easier. You can create beautiful worlds. Now, this is a world that actually was created with Lumberyard in a matter of a few weeks. You can also create stylized immersive worlds. So those of you who know the history of Lumberyard probably expect that we could do very vibrant, lush environments for a first-person shooter. But what this proves is that we can do more Pixar-esque immersive worlds that are more stylized for you to make different kinds of games. And you can also create vast environments, large-scale Horizon-type environments, so that your players can explore big chunks of the maps and create big communities in the process. You can also create compelling characters. Now, this is a very high-fidelity character. This is Rin, by the way. Rin was created in 6 days. 6 days using Lumberyard, very high fidelity. I'm going to show you a little bit of a video piece later that highlights some of what more Rin can do. But let me just show you a little bit of a snapshot of Rin coming to life. She's kind of staring at me, isn't she? She's staring at me. I kind of wanted to look at you guys for a minute, but I think she's looking over here. Lumberyard is platform agnostic. It's compatible with all platforms, PC, console, mobile, and yes, we also have it compatible with VR. Oh, no, yeah, I forgot to mention, it's free. I mean really, really free. Not a little free, really, really free. There's no royalties, there's no seat licenses, there's no nothing. Our goal is simply to help developers make great games that more easily connect to the cloud. If we can do that, then we believe that we can help feed the environment of game development and help developers work more effectively with Amazon Web Services. We also have some other services that we're offering. And historically speaking, multiplayer games have been really hard to make. In fact, all games are really hard to make. Multiplayer games are even harder to make. And frequently, we as game makers would have all these great ideas about how to make a multiplayer game, which feeds community, which feeds our ability to have longer engagements of gameplay with our customers. But it was hard. And so frequently we'd have all these great ideas. Halfway through development, we'd realize how hard it is and we would no longer pursue it, which meant that we wasted a lot of time that could have been spent on higher quality product. And so developers said, gosh, if we had the ability to tap into an infrastructure where we didn't have to build it ourselves, where someone else could do the heavy lifting for us, boy, that'd be great. So we built GameLift. Now, GameLift allows you to deploy your game into the cloud, your binary, in the cloud in a few easy clicks. Very simply, you can get your game up and running in the cloud and have players experiencing your game in a matter of moments. Historically, we also used to have to try to forecast about how many servers we were going to open up based on how many users we thought were going to come into our game. That's also really hard, right? So sometimes we would over-forecast, which meant that we were paying for servers we weren't using, and other times we under-forecast. Now, when we under-forecast, we have a whole lot of users, which is a good thing, except we don't support them very effectively, so we scramble to try to spin up new servers, and it causes churn, and customers potentially can get frustrated and leave our game, and then we lose them forever. So with auto-scaling, that's no longer a problem. You can spin up servers to a very minimum viable way, in a very minimum viable way, and then based on users coming to your game, you can spin up and spin down servers. You can scale them based on parameters that you set. You'll have a dashboard where you can set certain parameters to allow yourselves to manage certain things. For instance, let's say that you have a multiplayer game, it's a session-based multiplayer game, and you have players waiting in the lobby to get into their game. Well, you don't want players waiting in the lobby for too long, so you decide in the dashboard to set it for 10 seconds. If a player waits for more than 10 seconds, they're going to move to another server, they're going to go right into another game. Better customer experience, you have a more lively environment, and you can manage that all yourself through GameLift's dashboard. So GameLift is very similar to a lot of AWS services available to developers. In fact, we are 100% committed, just like developers are committed to making great games, just like gamers are committed to playing great games, we're committed to developers, to helping developers make great games. And so we have a lot of services in AWS, a lot of them, hundreds, and developers love them. But it takes a long time sometimes to tap into all these different services. And so we thought we should make that easier. So we created something called Cloud Canvas. Now, Cloud Canvas is basically a stitching tool. It's a visual scripting tool that allows you to click and drag a primitive. Let's say you want to use a DynamoDB initiative, and you click and drag and pull it down in your SDK. It works immediately. No longer do you have to wait 3 weeks to write the API to connect into DynamoDB. You click and drag and it works. Now you can spend more time on customizing the experience. Let's say you want to have a gifting system or leaderboards or a news tracker. You want to create more social elements that give you the ability for your game to have more reach. Well, now you can do it with Cloud Canvas. And speaking of reach, what's better reach than Twitch? Now Twitch, this is kind of fascinating to me, it's a lot of people. 1.7 million broadcasters are broadcasting games on Twitch. That's a lot of broadcasters, they're entertainers, and so there are 100 million plus monthly active viewers on Twitch, interacting with, participating with, contributing to Twitch. And so we wanted to create some tools to help you more effectively do that. How can we enable broadcasters to create larger, more vast environments? How can we feed into the game features that allow a broadcaster being able to create a large community, which then the community comes back and starts playing more of the game, and all of a sudden you have your flywheel, your circle of life. I'm sorry, I was at Disney for a long time. You have your circle of life. And it's a wonderful thing because before long you have a self-feeding environment simply by putting the right tools in the hands of creative minds. And these two tools are very straightforward, and we have a long list of others that we're working on as well because we believe we think that Twitch is a very powerful vehicle. First is chat play. Has anybody seen the Twitch for Pokemon? Hands, yeah? So you know you put a chat in there and then you can kind of direct, skipped ahead. Don't see that. You didn't see that, right? Wipe it from your eyes. I want to flash you. Twitch chat play allows you to put a command in a command line and to direct traffic inside a game to impact how gameplay is actually working. Another example is, let's say that you are outside as a viewer and think of a game where it's a survival game and someone's in there and they're having a hard time fighting a bunch of zombies. Well, let's say that you have the ability to, through chat play, drop them a health pack. Let's say that you're competing against them and you decide to put a blocker in front of them. You can impact gameplay through chat play, empower your experience to actually be a part of the community, and be a part of something bigger than just yourself. The second feature that we have is Twitch Join In. Now, you're watching your broadcaster, it's a great game, you're playing Dark Souls really hard, and you're watching this guy, and you go, you know what, that's cool, I want to start to play that. So if you're a subscriber, you ping the broadcaster, and they invite you in, and through a link immediately available to you, you are in playing with your favorite broadcaster. So think in terms of getting a chance to play a game with your hero developer, with your hero broadcaster. Twitch Join In allows you to do that. So we've talked a lot about speed, we've talked a lot about reach. What about monetization? Well, first, the engine's free. So instead of having to invest millions of dollars into the infrastructure or the licensing fees or the seats in order to get the license and utilize it in the first place, it's free. So you can reinvest all that money and all that energy into more important parts of your game. Why spend time on the undifferentiated pieces of your game, the things that aren't going to allow you to necessarily stand out, the more boring parts of making a game? Why not spend more time on the differentiating stuff, the innovation, the quality, ways that you can help your game stand out in the marketplace and succeed? And so we want to help you utilize Amazon's broader ecosystem to help you meet and exceed your goals. Developer success is very important to us, so we want to do everything we can to help you succeed. One way of doing that is by utilizing Amazon.com. Now, Amazon.com is a very successful site. Sell a lot of physical goods, a lot of physical materials, but also digital. In fact, in a recent poll, we were identified and scored very high in customer experience and in mind share. And so we can utilize this as a vehicle for developers for visibility, discoverability, for ways to monetize in ways that they never thought possible before. And then there's physical goods. Merch by Amazon launched a little while ago. Anybody familiar with Merch by Amazon? So what it does, I saw you. You raised your hand back there. There's one person back there. Thank you. Merch by Amazon allows you to design a t-shirt or a physical good, send it off to our fulfillment centers, have them create it, package it up, deliver it over to your customer. So think in terms of a day when it's possible for you to make a game. And by the way, how many game developers do we have in the room? People actually making games, and awesome, thank you. So let's say that you have a game, and in the process, I got a 10-minute, it's a 10-minute sign is what that is right there, letting me know I've got to hurry up, so I'll speed it up just a minute. So you're making a game, and along the way, you decide that you want to create a loyalty system program for your customers. The more time they spend in your game, the more value they accrue. And the more value they accrue, eventually they can redeem it. Now, we have a very unique opportunity in Amazon because we can not only fulfill physical goods, but we can also offer digital opportunities as well. So think in terms of you accrue value, loyalty program, eventually you can redeem that value in physical goods using Merch by Amazon. Oh, and also, you can also analyze your sales and iterate for the best monetization strategies. Very valuable for monetization. So look, our mission is simple. We are just as committed as gamers, just as committed as developers. We are committed to customers in every single way. We will always find a way to help our customers succeed. We obsess about how we can improve customers' experience. We are committed to the long-term support and improvement of Lumberyard and its services. We're in this for the long haul. It's very simple. It is our goal to be the one-stop shop destination for anything related to games or game development. And you know what? We're just getting started. Now, I want to show you a little bit of something. It's some work that some developers did in preparation for Game Developers Conference. And if I can just excuse myself for 1 second. These are just for show. I don't need these, just so that you know. I'm just putting them on to look smart. Okay. And I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy. That's mobile, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer some questions. Okay, is that an encore applause? Is that encore? Did you guys say encore? I want to verify. Encore? No? This gentleman here is saying, no, I don't want encore, I'm done. I don't want any more talk. Let me show you one more thing. Can I do that? I have a couple more minutes, right? Okay, just one more thing. Some developers, a real small group of developers back home built a little piece to highlight some of the capabilities of the engine. And it's kind of entertaining, a little bit Pixar and Disney-like, and I just want to show it to you really quickly.
What a difference! The riches of a continent. Once each year, this gold makes its way to a secret harbor for transport to the old world. The treasure is here in Portobello. And we aim to steal it before anyone else does. I warn ye, the heist of all time. It will require faultless timing. Fleetness of foot.
Flashing time!
Diabolical ingenuity. An unmatched martial valor. But the prize is wealth beyond the dreams of Blackbeard himself, if ye make it out alive.
All made with Lumberyard. Thank you very much for your time. I'm happy to answer questions, but I was told that the group would be shy and that you might not ask any. Are you going to prove everyone wrong? Yes. I'm sorry? I'm old. My hearing is really bad. Macintosh environment, yes. We actually are working on a Qt conversion to be able to work on the Macintosh so the editor works in the Macintosh environment. And that's on the roadmap, it'll be very soon. Questions? Yes. Why Lumberyard? Good question. JC, you want to take that one? You know, I think Lumberyard is one of those names that kind of sticks. And we were thinking in terms of it's the Lumberyard. It's a destination where if you want any questions answered around game development, that you can go to a place, a destination where you can get tools and you can get services and you can find resources, and it's a place you go to. At the end of the day, we would love to be a one-stop shop, as I mentioned, for game developers. So no matter what you were trying to find out about games or game development, you go to one place, and we're able to provide that information. So that was the inspiration behind Lumberyard. But there's a deeper story. The deeper story is that there was a conversation had about some of the information that we were coming up with. And in order to keep it simple, one of the guys in our group said, it's a table, it's made of wood. What's the third? 4 legs, thank you. It's a table, it's made of wood, got 4 legs. And from that was born Lumberyard. That's the reason for it. Yes?
First of all, thank you for your interesting presentation.
My pleasure.
You mentioned that Lumberyard is free, really free.
Yes.
And what if I use the Lumberyard as to build a standalone application, like standalone game, not using Amazon, or if I use that with different kind of cloud services like Google Cloud or something else?
Yes.
Is it still free?
If you have your own server structure, so you're on-prem, still free. If you have your own solution like a private cloud, still free. If you want to utilize Lumberyard for Google or Azure, then there are other details that we need to discuss. However, there's usually always a solution. Yeah. Yes.
I heard that you're going to provide about networking. Is it connectionless, or are you going to support like TCP?
I missed the first part of that.
I heard that you're going to provide us networking environment.
Yes.
Is it like connectionless, like, or can we use it?
You know, you just went above my pay grade. We have a solution architect right here who can answer your question.
Reliable UDP.
Yeah. The one thing that we did do is, you know, we started with a foundation of an engine that had some great things, that did some terrific work. And we improved on those things. And we also wanted to improve some of those pieces. The network layer is one of those areas that we really tried to dig into and improve. And so it's greatly improved from its previous existence. By the way, I didn't properly introduce the guys from the team, but if you have any technical questions, we have folks here who can answer those for you, solution architects, and we have the father of the idea of Lumberyard who's here, and he'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And so we are here for you. We're happy to answer any questions you might have. Anything else? See, you weren't shy. It was terrific. Great. Thank you very much.